Welcome back, fellow dissidents. To most people, the topic of censorship is either discontented, disconnected, or trivial. But what needs to be understood is that individuals are not the main proposition of this censorship. It's the ideas. Okay. Recently, YouTube has yet once again shifted the goalposts. This is something that most people in the liberty movement, most people, even conservatives like Steven Crowder, have discussed for years. The problem with YouTube is they say that they allow free speech but not harmful ideas, and then their terms of service regularly move the goalposts of what is allowable in terms of content. Now, a few videos back, I did a segment, an episode on non-compliance, and I espoused my beliefs on the situation at hand in the world and in our country, and 2 days ago, YouTube had sent me literally as soon as the reports and the terms of service had come out that YouTube was restricting any anti-vax material in their platform. Literally that same day, I got an email, and it said that I had violated terms of service, and they were giving me a warning. Now, I have received one warning before, but I've always stayed within the bounds of the YouTube terms of service. So it wasn't until and I appealed that video, and it was ultimately put back up, and there's a video about what happened, and also the video that it happened to. Which was a few back. You can go back in my catalog and check it out. They're both still up. But this latest one, the terms of service has shifted to where if you advocate any amount of non-compliance when it comes to any WHO doctrine, the World Health Organization, whatever their doctrine is, you are not allowed to go against it whatsoever. So, I tried to appeal this last video, but the appeal was ultimately failed, and the warning was upheld. So, the way YouTube works is you get a warning, and then 3 strikes, and then your channel is out, right? So, right now, as it sits, I only have a warning. So there's really no strikes against my page yet, but the main issue here is that when you follow guidance or you follow the terms of service at any given time, arbitrarily they can be changed. So there's really it's really something out of Orwell's 1984 or Animal Farm, where they switch the language, they switch the terms of which you're supposed to comply, and then they can just strike you down. And this is quite obviously the intention. It's I am of the opinion of certain beliefs, and I should be able to speak this. They obviously have a monopoly on discourse in this country and all over the world, for that matter. So this is our public square. This is why I started doing this. This is the largest platform where I can get my ideas out. Now, I'm still going to release, information and opinions and videos speaking on the subject of non-compliance. I won't do so here, and further forward, there's going to be videos uploaded to YouTube that, it's basically just me saying, hey, go check out my Rumble. Because Rumble, while they may not monetize a video where my beliefs are, that people don't want to monetize it, that's fine. But it's still allowed to be hosted, which is very important, because should I be able to gain more traction, which has been happening. I mean, my views have subsequently went up in the recent time because I'm putting out more content, And, just the community is growing, not substantially, but enough. More people are watching it. A lot of people who aren't subscribed watch the content, but nevertheless, from this point forward, should I have any views or opinions to espouse that contradict the worldview of the WHO, I will have to do so on Rumble, and I'm thinking about uploading my catalog to BitChute as well, just to get it in as many places as I can, because decentralization is the key to all organization. It needs to be as decentralized and local as possible, okay? And the main thing that I take issue here is not that they're changing their terms of service or that they're arbitrarily striking videos. And obviously, it's not like this was a coordinated attempt against me, because I don't have any amount of influence that would strike them. But their algorithms pick up certain topics and certain words, right? So they already had in the helm all of the videos who were espousing any beliefs about non-compliance. So as soon as their terms of service changed and their doctrine changed, they were able to just strike down a whole bunch of videos. I don't even know what the amount of content is that got strucken from YouTube, but it had to have been a lot. And I'm not even sure if some of my most recent videos will remain up. It's very possible that the goalposts keep shifting. And, I'll end up getting my 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out. I don't know. But I'm going to continue to, produce content and show that this is arbitrary. And you know that it's arbitrary because, look at all of the videos of all the politicians and all the scientists and all these corporate news, the corporate news identities, and Dr. Fauci himself. All of these videos that espouse their narrative are still up to this day, and we all know. You can go back in my video catalog and see how radically different the doctrine of the WHO and our politicians and the corporate news apparatus has changed dramatically over the course of this entire pandemic. So long as you stay in line with the narrative of the day, you are free from censorship. And this is why this whole title of grifter, I don't mind when people say that I'm just grifting and trying to get views and be sensational and all that. I understand where I'm coming from, and so do the people who support these ideas understand what the liberty movement is and what they're trying to do, right? But if I was actually grifting, I would pick a side. I would pick a side, right? And because I don't stand with the contemporary liberal or the the leftist movement, although I do hold some liberal ideas, as well as with the conservatives. I didn't vote for Trump. I don't think Trump was is he better than Biden? Yeah, sure, absolutely. That's a very low bar to set, but I don't stand with Trump. I stand with liberty. I think we should be rolling back the state. And unfortunately, Trump, he didn't, he expanded the state just as much as any other president. Maybe not in the war, even though he dropped mad bombs in the Middle East. That's besides the point. What I'm saying is that regardless of your political beliefs, to be a grifter, you have to choose a side. You have to choose a narrative, and you have to grift your way through it. You have to espouse a certain ideological belief that is stringent upon certain doctrines, right? And I don't do that. Of course, I have my biases. I'm an anarchist, so I believe in abolishing the state. But nevertheless, this term grifter gets thrown around a lot as well, because there's a lot of principled conservatives who hold their views as well, like Steven Crowder. And even though Ben Shapiro is, he's a statist to the fullest, and I agree with some of what he says when it comes to like the cultural aspect, but when it comes to the state, he's not in any aspect trying to roll back the state. He just wants his Republican Party to be in control of it. But nevertheless, there are some principled conservatives where I don't agree with their views, but they hold stringent views on their philosophy and their worldview, which is commendable. I don't have to agree with your ideas or your principles to understand that you are standing on them, right? And this is what I have professed to do. Now, of course, my political evolution has changed, dramatically in the last few years, because it went from being a libertarian to being a radical libertarian to being of the position of abolishing the state. I've long since been trying to pick through libertarian content and anarchist content and literature and try to find the hole in it. I mean, maybe there is. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I don't profess to be so, but I'm still yet to see how an anarchist society would be worse than what we have now. And it's the whole idea behind what I'm trying to do is espouse these beliefs, and hopefully people will at least lean more libertarian. This was the whole thing that I was trying to get at. So, I mean, sure, people can say my content is propaganda and it's I'm grifting. But anybody who's been paying attention to my content and where I come from knows that this isn't true. But nevertheless, the title gets thrown around regularly. But I say all that to say this: the real grifters are the people who are only espousing unprincipled beliefs to stay in line, so that way they can gain money and fame or whatever it is that they're seeking. And so long as you stay inside of that, that tightly confined box, and you espouse the narrative of the cathedral, then you're safe. You can grift right along. And it's disheartening to see how disingenuous society is today. I mean, whether you agree with my political philosophy or worldview is of no relevance at this point. What matters is that we stand against this tyranny. And sure, I hear it already, that YouTube is a private company and blah, 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 but it's not that simple. You shouldn't be able to arbitrarily change the terms of service and then retroactively strike people's videos. But nevertheless, that's what's happening. It's the same way the leftist doctrine has worked over the past 150 years. They slowly flip the language and they revert the history to stay in line with their narrative, to make it homogenous. This is why they're striking down videos like mine, and why it's not a trivial matter. Because sure, I may not have some big standing or a whole bunch of traction in society today. Sure, given, I understand this. But it's not trivial. Because if they can knock down all of these videos who don't stand in line with the corporate press and the state and their narrative, then what do you think they can do to regular folks? Quite regularly, I see people, acting as if that what's happening in our country is just a trivial matter. People laugh about it, and it's so long as it doesn't affect their family, it's no big deal. But we are in an existential crisis, whether you look at it politically, economically, socially. In every aspect in our country, our structures and our institutions are folding. And the main platform that I have here on YouTube is, it's the greatest way to reach people. I've tried diligently to get people to come to Rumble, so that way I don't have to, self-censor myself on YouTube. But, it's to no avail. I mean, I still watch a lot of content on YouTube myself, so I understand fully, it's a centralized node of information. A lot of people are going to want to, adhere to this platform, and that's understandable. But we got to understand that It's not a trivial matter, even when somebody as small as my content is, when they start striking down, especially regular people who are starting to gain traction, and they have legitimate principles, and they stand on it, and they express their worldview that contradicts the state. When those ideas are being suppressed, we are in an existential crisis. That was one of the fundamental principles of this country. Regardless of what your political beliefs are, freedom of speech and the right to assemble and the right to project your worldview to the largest audience possible was fundamental in the foundation of this country. Now, given it took a long, just like every principle of this country, it took a long time to come to fruition. There was times, not too recently past, where people were arrested for speech. George Carlin got in a lot of trouble for the 7 words you can't say on TV or whatever it was. It wasn't until, the recent probably 60 decades that free speech was really a principle that was pushed in a radical direction. And that's for the better. Even if I abhor your views and your worldview, I will still stand up for your right to espouse it. Now, that's not how most of the country feels anymore, and that's what makes it existential. People are cheering for this censorship. People like me getting stricken from YouTube, even if it seems trivial to most folks. We got half of the country who believes that what I'm espousing is hate speech. And they would love to see me in the gulag, not just have my video taken down, but behind closed doors, even in public now, people are professing their righteousness behind this man in the FDA who literally said that he wants to align with Nazi Germany and start blow darting vaccines into people. We got people praising this kind of stuff. While people like me who stand on their principles, who read into literature and understand philosophy and the way we could change things, I'm being stricken down while other people cheer it on. This is not a trivial matter. This is not something that should just go on without precedence. This is a precedence that is being set that should scare everybody. It's not trivial. Just because we still have more freedom than the rest of the world that just means we'll be the last one to fold. That's all it means. That doesn't mean it can't happen here. It most certainly can happen here. It is happening here. We got hundreds, if not thousands of healthcare workers who, because of their beliefs, they're getting fired. I won't even speak on it in this video, because I don't want it to get stricken for being anti-vax content. That's what they're saying. They're saying that my content was against the World Health Organization, and that makes me an anti-vaxxer. I've got every vaccination, every single one of them. And like I've said in almost all of my videos, talk to your doctor. It shouldn't be up to the state or YouTube or anybody who's disseminating information on what ideas should be spread. At what point did this country come to the realization that we need to censor people? The largest platform in the world, yeah, we're going to start censoring opinions. At what point did this become okay? At what point did people think that it was trivial? Even if, I've only got like 2,000 views on YouTube. So what? I could, with the amount of views and the amount of people that actually, through the whole of my social media stratus, through that whole, I could fill up a large platform, an actual venue of people that I actually reach. So while it seems trivial, it's not. It's not. And the reason why it's not trivial is because of my radical views. I am exactly the kind of person that the state and the politicians and the cathedral at large do not want to be heard. And this is why I'm making this video, not only to, spread the word that they had it in the helm. They changed their terms of service and then just started striking down videos. I mean, this is not something to be taken lightly. Never in history has censorship been on the side of the righteous. Ever. And it never led to anything good. What I'm trying to do here is for one, to announce that if I have any kind of ideas or opinions that are going to, stand in line with, or against rather the narrative of the corporate press, then I will put up some short message on here to say, please come to my Rumble and watch it, because there's really nothing else I can do at this point. It's like I said in that video, it will probably get stricken down because of my opinions on compliance. But it should have still been in, whatever the terms of service was, it was in line with those. Everything that I espoused was opinion, but it was still stricken down as anti-vax content that stands against the World Health Organization, even though the entire intelligentsia, the leftists, and the corporate apparatus itself has been contradicting itself over and over again. And then they wonder why people don't trust them, why more and more people are leaning towards radical libertarianism, minarchism, and anarchism. Why are people rejecting the state? Why? Because the corporate fascism in this country has aligned itself with a certain narrative. And should you go against that narrative, then they strike you down. The public sees this. This isn't the 80s and the 90s where you can censor political opposition and get away with it, where it takes months upon maybe years to understand that somebody was, some amount of dissent was being suppressed. This is in a day and age where the knowledge will get out. Even if I'm only reaching, a couple hundred people through each video. So what? They cannot have that, because the information being disseminated is not propaganda. It's anti-propaganda. Now, like I said, I have my biases, but I don't hold them from anybody. Anybody who, even if you just turn on a video, you can ascertain very rapidly what my worldview is. And this is intentional. That's why I try to repeat certain things about my worldview in each video, so that way as the platform grows, my platform grows, and I gain traction, people can understand where I'm coming from and hopefully look into it. This is the idea behind what I wanted to do, was to spread these ideas, even if it's only for a few people. Even if I only change one person to want to get rid of the state, then I've done what I came to do. But as of right now, I cannot do it openly on this platform. I will continue to make content that will be hosted on this platform, but if it's in any avenue that comes close to parallel with standing against the narrative of the corporate press, then I'll have to put up some short memo on here that says, please come see me on my Rumble, where free speech is at least still allowed. This is not a trivial matter. It should be important to everybody. Not that I'm being censored, but that everybody's being censored. Do I agree with all conservatives and Republicans? No. But do I agree with all leftists? No. But do I agree with their ability and their right to profess their worldview on any platform that will allow them to? Absolutely. I don't care what your worldview is in this country. You should be allowed to profess your worldview to the largest audience possible. So that way, one, if it's super, super bad, we can strike it down with good ideas. And two, if it is a good idea, and it's, even if it's radically different, more people can hear it. This is a fundamental principle that is being taken away from us. Back in the day, you used to stand on your soapbox and preach your gospel. This is our soapbox. Our worldviews are being suppressed. It's not a trivial matter. YouTube constantly moving the goalposts is not a trivial matter. I'll stop with that. By all means, if you enjoy this content, please like, share, subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one.